All right, my name is Lindsay Costello. Yeah, one of my favorite one-liners from him was that he said you have to be 2% smarter than the machinery you're working with, and he always made us laugh, no matter how uncomfortable he was feeling at the time. He just had such a good attitude and just always made us smile, and yeah, he is sorely missed. Thank you.
I'm Duncan. I'm Roger's grandson. One of my favorite stories is whenever we'd go fishing. Well, it was like a one-liner for fishing in particular. Lex or Joe would be complaining about not catching any fish, and he'd go, "Oh, let me pull out my fish finder." Take his finger and just stick it in the lake, and just go, "Yep, there are fish in this lake." And yeah, that would be it.
Don't make him angry because otherwise he'll threaten to milk your mouth. And hopefully your mom or your brother or your sister will one day show you what that is.
Hi, my name is Lex. I'm one of Roger's grandsons, and there's a lot of one-liners, but probably my favorite one also goes with the story. I was coming back from a summer trip with him, and it's one of the very few times I was at the airport. My mom picks me up at the airport. I don't remember what I said before, but I was like, she said something. I was like, "You want a second opinion? You're ugly too." 5 seconds later, Grandpa's on the phone already. She's ripping into him, but yeah, I mean, there's a ton of them, but yeah, I'll miss him.
All right. One of the stories I just remembered is that Roger actually almost started a nuclear war. Uh, he was when he was in the Air Force, he was in one of the hangars, and a fire started there in the hangar, and it was a plane in the hangar that he would work on. But when the fire in the hangar started, he thought, he goes, "I'm going to be a hero and move this plane out of the hangar and save everybody." Well, that plane had a nuclear weapon on it. And when that plane with a nuclear weapon on it fired up, everybody knew. Pentagon knew, everybody knew about it. So, him being the supposed hero, he backs the plane out of the hangar. Nobody knows why this plane is running because it's not supposed to be running, why the engine got fired up. He moves it out of there, thinks he's done the best thing in the whole world. They call him into the office. He's thinking, he goes, "Oh, I remember him walking in there super proud." And he says, "I'm going to get my medal." Well, he almost got a court martial because what he didn't realize was that nuclear weapon, they don't go off like that. And the fire wouldn't have done anything to it. But him thinking he was saving the world almost ended the world. So Rogers played a bigger part in this whole planet than most people ever realize. So fortunately, he didn't get in trouble. Well, he got in trouble, but he didn't get court-martialed. So that was one of the things that he learned his lesson. Because if it's not your business, it's not your business. So. Hi, everybody. My name's Rick Von Bison, and oof, man, I met Raj. I think first time back in 1992 in the academy, and this dude would come up with some one-liners all the time. One of my favorite ones was, you couldn't tell somebody that they were retarded, so he would always ask them, "Hey, did you bump your head?" Uh, then we couldn't tell them if they bumped their head anymore, so we had to start asking if they had a closed head injury, and that kind of just went all over the place. What else would he say? He would always say, "Oh, damn, I'm at a loss for words right now." Um, anyway, a couple of the stories that I had is, remember we would go scuba diving, and we're out on Catalina, and I got horribly seasick. I mean, horribly seasick. And I'm out. He's watching him eat breakfast. He asked me, "You want breakfast?" Nope. I sit here and I'm just going to try to hold it down. And he comes to the table with this plate, bacon, sausage, and this big mound of scrambled eggs. And I'm, trying to look past it. And he grabbed his ketchup bottle and he turned it over and he hit that bottom of it. And as soon as it went, I lost it. I was outside just hurling over the side. And of course, Raj being the buddy that he was, he didn't want me to fall overboard. So he comes out, grabs the back of my pants with one hand, puts his plate on my back, and then starts eating the scrambled eggs with the other hand. So he never missed a beat. And I looked over my shoulder. I'll never forget it. Looked over my shoulder and saw him eating those nasty ketchup covered scrambled eggs. I lost it again. And so, but he didn't let me fall over. That was one of the things you could count on Rod. He didn't let me fall over. One of the other times we go scuba diving. Just bought this brand new motor for the dinghy, and Steve was there, and Steve thought Raj tightened down the motor. Raj thought Steve tightened down the motor. We get to Catalina, there's no motor on the back of the boat. So for anybody that wants to go find one, there's a brand new motor between Long Beach and Catalina sitting at the bottom of the ocean because nobody tied it down and one of the waves knocked it off there. So if you want a brand new motor, go get it and I'll tell you where it's at. So I got a chance to talk to him a couple of months before he passed, and for him it was always about quality versus quantity. And that dude would do anything for anybody, and family was number one. So never ever forget that family's always first. So I'm gonna miss you, buddy. You take care of yourself, man. We'll see you.
Hi, my name is Nicole Powell. So I worked with Roger for many, many years, and if you were a female officer and he didn't like you, he would call you Gladys. And I know there's a whole backstory to the term Gladys, but I actually had a nickname. He called me Olive Oil because I wore my hair in a bun on the top of my head from Popeye. So that's my Roger story.
I'm Joey. I'm his second youngest grandson from Kristen's side. Grandpa Popo is amazing. Took us on a lot of fishing trips. Didn't really get to hunt with him, but we shot his rifles, learned gun safety. For the most part, I mean, he watched me almost destroy my toes with his rifle or with his revolver. And then he never wanted to call us our actual name. We would always be Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Huey, Dewey, and Louie everywhere. Because we were his 3 trios for summer. I think my favorite story might have already gotten told. We were hauling an 18-wheeler. Well, Grandpa was. We were all kind of asleep. Duncan was awake. And he was backing it up, jackknife, and all we hear is a loud pop and a few suggested words. He broke his back window, so for the rest of the drive, there was no window. He was pissed. I think that's the most I've seen our own grandpa pissed at something. But he was an amazing man.
I'm good? Okay. Well, all right, I'm making my video. So, Dad, I just want to say thank you for being my dad. Funniest thing I can remember that you always used to say to us and to the grandkids and to everybody was, "You want one of these?" You used to do that all the time. So that, and you'd always tell us to think about it. I don't know why. We never had to think about it. We didn't want to mess with you, but it's all good, Dad. We love you.
Introduce yourself and then favorite story or one-liner you have.
All right. First, I'll tell you about how I knew Roger. It started in 1983 when I got assigned to Nellis Air Force Base. He was working in the same building as I was, and we got to know each other. I spent 7 more years at Nellis and retired. Once I retired, I started a business as a dive shop. Roger came in one day and said, "Hey, we know each other." And we got to be a lot better friends. He learned to dive. He eventually became a dive master with me. We did a lot of boat salvages. We also did some traveling. And the story that I'll tell you about is when the boys from Vegas, which consisted of Roger, Dan Oglesby, Darren Oglesby, and myself, went down to Pirate Week in the Cozumel area. We quickly became the terror of the resort. Everybody knew us. On about the fifth day there, a guy, one of the people came up, asked if I wanted to be part of a beauty contest judge. Now, I'm a little bit smarter than Roger in some respects. And I said, no, but how about Roger? They went to Roger and he goes, oh, yeah, I'll do it. So that night, when everybody's around, everybody's been drinking, they said, now the beauty contest, they selected 8 women, and the 4 judges. Well, the whole catch to this was once they found out, the 2 girls per judge had to dress the guys up for the beauty contest. So they took Roger away. A half hour later, he comes back in a skirt with a brawn bathing suit, hair and makeup everywhere. And he got all upset at the end because he didn't win. The other guy had bigger boobs. So that was my favorite story of the boys from Vegas.
My grandpa, and he's a really nice guy. I love him so much. I miss him, and I'm glad that he's out of his pain.
Hi, my name is Duck. I'm one of Roger's daughters, and my story to tell you is how I got the nickname Duck. I was about 5 years old, and Roger and I were watching a TV show called Bonanza, and there was a British lady on there, and she just kept calling everybody Ducky, just a term of affection. We got done watching the show. My mom was making dinner, and he knew better than to feed me anything before dinner, and I asked him to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He said no, we were going to have dinner soon, and he says, this is his part of the story, was that I looked up at him, these great big eyes, and I said, aw, do it for your little ducky. I'm now 48 years old as this video is being made. There are people in this room who do not even know my real name. I have been Duck. I will always be Duck. So, love you, Dad.
I'm Harrison. My favorite story of Roger is when he would come over to the house in Lehigh and he would take his teeth out. And I thought it was the coolest thing to see his teeth out, and he'd like show me it and wiggle it on my face. Yeah, that's my favorite memory of him.
Met Roger back in 1992. We worked together in the jail in North Las Vegas. And I was never a hunter I've never been hunting ever. And Roger took me under his wing and taught me all about hunting. And every year I went hunting was always with Roger. And heck, I shot my first buck with him. Heck, we did everything, fishing. He taught me all about the state of Nevada, took me all these fishing holes and stuff. I would have never known that if I didn't meet him. Very good guy. He's my brother to this day. The main thing, the one-liner that he always said was, real men don't eat tomatoes. He despised tomatoes, and he thought if you ate tomatoes, you were weak. But I just learned from Duck just what that story was all about. But that was his main thing. Even Ben, when Ben was a small kid, Ben would say the same thing. Real men don't eat tomatoes. And Ben even told me once, he goes, you eat tomatoes, that's why you don't know how to do anything. That's my story.
I'm Erin. I'm Debbie's daughter. So I met Roger in 2005 when we moved back from North Carolina. But one of my best memories of Roger is driving to Las Vegas. We were in my mom's Tahoe, and he was in his police car behind us. And he let my kids turn on the lights and the sirens in the car as we drove to Las Vegas, exceeding the speed limit. And I think one of my other favorite things about Roger was his laugh. It was so infectious, and you could hear it from miles away. So anyway, we loved Roger. He's great. My boys love him. I'm just sorry they can't be here, but they loved Popo Roger.
So kind of the first couple things I remember, I met Raj after he had separated from Steph's mom. And the thing that stands out with Roger about me is he always was accepting of our family, and he was Grandpa Raj growing up, no matter what the situation was. So that's really cool. As Deb was talking earlier, she talked about how she wasn't huge into guns, and Raj found her a gun. So story kind of along the lines with that. So when Steph and I were first married, I was looking for a handgun, a new handgun, and I wanted one. So I had been looking around for a while, and he had caught wind of it. Went down to Vegas to visit him one time, and he walks in with this Beretta, and he's like, "Did you ever find a gun?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I bought one at a gun show." And he's like, "Well, here, you can have this." And he totally gave me a Beretta, so still have it. It's one of my like coolest guns, one I like, treasure the most. So kind of a cool thing too. He does make sure people have the guns that they need. So anyway, that's kind of it.
Introduce yourself and then whatever you want to say.
Robbie Reed. I'm Debbie's nephew. Remember going on a ride along with Roger one time when he was police chief or tribal chief, and he pulls over a guy for speeding, and then the guy gets out. And I remember Roger very politely putting his hands back on the guy to get him in his car so everybody will stay safe. And I thought at that moment, yeah, I don't want to mess with this guy. He means business. So Roger's always been very kind for the most part, and I'll miss him.
All right, and one of Roger's favorite sayings. Do you know what burns my ass? A flame this big. This big.